And welcome back to another CBB Talk with your boy, Will Dickinson. You see the title of this video. We're doing a second chance bracket. We did this last year, but this year we're going to be doing two second chance brackets on this video. One, I'm going to do a bracket based on my final four. So kind of like equal it out to what I thought was going to happen originally. And then we're going to do a bracket based on how I'm feeling now and if anything I think will change before the national championship. So we're going to be doing two. But first, we got to talk about a little bit of coaching news, I guess, a little bit of some transfers. Obviously, we've had some big-time names into the portal and some declare for the draft, like AJ Store draft, Terrence Edwards from James Madison to the portal and declaring for the draft. We saw the South Dakota State dude. I can't remember his name now. Mayo, maybe Zeke Mayo. I think he entered the. We see a lot of names. Katie Johnson entering the portal. A lot of really good. Tucker DeFreeze, assuming he's going to go to West Virginia, enter the portal. And then yeah, Calipari returning to Kentucky. Not really surprised. I just didn't know who else they really would think to replace him. That would be a big job to have. But he's going to stay with Kentucky. But the next bad year, he's going to be gone. There, we see Pat Kelsey looking like he's going to get the Louisville job. That's very interesting. Don't know how I really feel about that. I feel like Louisville kind of missed out, obviously, on Dusty May, which was the tough one. Him going to Michigan. Mark Bingen, the JMU coach is going to Vandy. We saw who did West Virginia hire? DeFreeze. So yeah, a lot of big moves. We still got a lot of moves more to go, which is fun. We saw Kyle Smith go from Washington State to Stanford and Utah. Danny Sprinkle going to Washington, going to get Power Conference jobs so good for them. But yeah, let's talk. We gotta do the main thing. Keep the main thing the main thing, and the main thing here is the second chance bracket. So this first second chance bracket I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you my thoughts on the games, but also kind of like I have all my four Final Four teams are in, so I'm gonna do that. Obviously, as UConn San Diego State game's good. It's the fourth time ever since the tournament expanded to where teams have played each other in the national championship the year prior and played the next year in March Madness. It's only the fourth time ever, first time since 2007. And I'm going to have UConn win this game. Look, obviously, the way to stop San Diego State is stopping Jalen Ledee. He's been a problem. He's averaging 29 in 2 games so far in the tournament. And San Diego State's played really good over 2 games. Granted, it was against Yale and against UAB, but they dominated the Yale game. I guess they didn't play amazing against UAB. But San Diego State's look good. They're experienced. Brian Dusher's done an amazing job once again. Parrish, Butler, they're big players. Damian Trammell, and obviously the star Ledee. But UConn looks unbeatable. Whether it's a Newton game, a Spencer game, you get Alex Karabin game, a Klingon game. This team is so consistent. They're a team that doesn't rely. They're an older team, but they're not only old players. They have the freshman Castle. I mean, Klingon's only a sophomore, so I see that they can win with many different ways. And look, the second chance bracket is this one's going with what I think is going to happen, and I got UConn winning it all. This one's based on my regular bracket, but I think UConn is a clear cut favorite. Illinois Iowa State, I think, is my most intriguing matchup. This is a game I am most excited for. Because obviously the number 1 defense in KenPom versus number 1 offense. But I saw a thing today on Twitter. I think this was by College Basketball Report or something like that. It was Iowa State is like one of the 4th lowest best defenses like in the past whatever like 10 years. So it's a great defense, but it's an average great defense. And this Illinois is the best offense since 2018 Villanova. So this is one of the best offenses in recent college basketball history. And obviously they're led by the dude named Terrence Shannon Jr. Look, this dude can flat out ball. He's on a different level right now. He's playing like probably the best player in college, or second best player in college basketball, obviously behind Zach Edey. He's been that dude. But Domask, coming off a first round triple double, had over 20 last game. Dane Dangers broke out. We've seen Coleman Hawkins play good, and they're a bigger team. And Iowa State, I think that's gonna be a struggle because you have Taman Lipsey's a little shorter. Keyshawn Gilbert. I'm gonna take Illinois, and I've been doubting Iowa State. I had Iowa State, losing the second round to Drake. They ended up not even getting Drake. They got Wazoo, and Wazoo gave him a good fight. I think this Illinois team is on a different level, and this is a matchup I did have in my Elite Eight in my original bracket, and I'm thinking it's gonna. I like my thought process there. Alabama versus North Carolina. Um, this is such a tough game, and this is gonna be the third game to start on the Sweet 16 day. We seen RJ Davis, not even have two great games, and they North Carolina's cruise to the Sweet 16. We've seen Baycott be very consistent. Harrison Ingham's had a really good game. Seth Trimble's came off the bench and gave huge minutes with Withers. North Carolina's playing really good. And they can't, but to win this game, they can't get into a shootout with Alabama because no one gets into shootouts more than Alabama. Who are you comfortable in playing like that? Obviously, Mark Sears is on a different level right now. Um, I posted a video on my TikTok of the best 16 players in my Sweet 16, and I had Mark Sears over RJ Davis, and the reason for that is because of the recent way Mark Sears is playing, the way he's had to carry this load for this team. He's been on another level, and this one's gonna be tough for Carolina. And do I see all the one seeds making the Elite Eight? It never happens like that. I'm gonna take Alabama. I had St. Mary's beating Alabama, so all right, St. Mary's beating what? Yes, Alabama and North Carolina. So to go off my regular bracket, I'll take North Carolina to lose. And then Clemson Zona. Um I think this game is one of the least intriguing ones, I guess to say. Obviously, Clemson wasn't expected to be here. They were underdogs in the first round matchup against New Mexico. Then they go upset Baylor. They're here now. Brownell has done an amazing job. I think this Arizona team's kind of on a different level, though, I would say. Caleb Love's been so good. But then you have Keisha Johnson, who's just so athletic. We saw a really first great game from Kylan Boswell in the first round, struggled in that second round. Balo's been consistent. Larson's really been that second scorer. And now we've seen a guy like Jaden Bradley come off the bench and give huge, important minutes. I think he's going to be a really good player. Obviously, I'm going to have Arizona winning this game, and that would match up Jaden Bradley against his former school, which would be interesting. I think Arizona is such a good team, and Tommy Lloyd has had great teams all 3 years, but this could be the first team of his to break through. Houston Duke, obviously, an amazing game. We have two teams, that have had interesting tournaments. Duke has played two double-digit seeds and handled both of them pretty easily. Obviously, coming off a great game from Jared McCain, who I had in my top 16 and not flip in my top 16. I know, controversial, but McCain's been obviously really, really good. But they're going against a different style of defense in Houston. I need Houston to win this game for my bracket. If I want a chance to win my bracket groups, Houston's going to have to break through and beat Duke, and I think that's going to be a challenging task because Houston coming off a bad game. They got blown up by Iowa State 3 games ago, so they haven't played great recently. But I think they can get past Duke. They're more experienced. Jamal Shedd's going to have to be locked in on both ends of the ball, and Emmanuel Sharp's gonna have to, or not Emmanuel, yeah, Emmanuel Sharp's gonna have to shoot the ball really well along with LJ Cryer. This game, I thought it was gonna be Kentucky Marquette. It's not. NC State has broken through to the Sweet 16. They're on a great run here. And Marquette's not the biggest team, so that concerns me a little bit with how they're matched up with DJ Burns, Mohamed Diarra. They have been a great one, too. And then they bring Ben Milberks off the bench, who's also been really good. And I've seen this team win 7 games in a row. I know it's legit. But Marquette NC State's going to have a really tough time dealing with Tyler Kolek, Cam Jones, who just missed my top 16 players. I'm taking Marquette here. Shaka Smart back in the Sweet 16 for the first time in a while, trying to get back to Elite 8. I believe for the first time since 2011. This might be his first time in the Sweet 16, but I know it's the first time in the Elite 8 if he wins this game. Going to be a tough game. NC State's red hot, but I think the run comes to an end. people call him Americans team. I'm not. I'm not. DJ Burns is obviously a joy to work, and he didn't make my top 16. I think I had Jamal Shed 4 and Kolek 7. Cam Jones narrowly missed it with DJ Burns as well. Midwest region. Um, for the bracket purposes, I'm taking Purdue to win this game, but I like Gonzaga's chances a lot. They matched up in Maui this year, and Purdue did handle them, but I thought Gonzaga kept it close in the first half. They played Edie really well. They kind of just got in foul trouble that game, and this is a new Gonzaga team. Like I said in my last video, once they beat Kentucky and Rupp, that season changed for them. Ryan Nemhart's been so good with the ball. And then they've had Brandon Gregg come around, Braden Huff been really good, and then you kind of just see Hickman having to get more confidence with shooting the ball. Graham Ike is gonna be a beast, and he's gonna have to be you know very active defensively against Edie. But Gonzaga has the bigs to throw. But look, Purdue's looked like the second best team in the nation in this tournament. Two blowout wins for the Boilermakers, and it's Final Four a bust for them this year. And I like to say that they have a really good chance. It's the best chance they've probably ever had. And in this game, it will be the last game of the Sweet 16, Creighton, Tennessee. We see Dalton Connect, who's been in the transfer of the year, one of the best players in the whole nation throughout the season. And he kind of struggled in the last game. I think he almost still got 20, but he didn't. I think he was 1 for 8 from 3. And Creighton obviously had an amazing game with Oregon coming into this. Baylor, Scheinman, Trey Alexander, Ryan Kalkbrenner trio has been good, and they got a huge game from Stephen Ashworth earlier. So he's kind of been the X factor here, but he's going to get the Zakai Ziegler matchup, and obviously Tennessee's going to want to punch you in the mouth, play slower, and kind of be able to win a game in the mud. And they don't have to do that. This is what makes this Tennessee team better, is that they don't have to go win a game like that, but that's still the way they prefer to play. And I think Tennessee has a great chance of winning this, but I've been big on Creighton for now this last month or two. I'm going to have them win this game, again, for my bracket purposes, and I had this game in my Elite Eight as well. With these Elite Eight matchups, I kind of won't go more in depth because, again, these are all hypotheticals at this point. I would take UConn to beat Illinois. Illinois obviously be red hot going in this game. I'm guessing we would have another big game from Shannon, but what I keep saying is UConn is on a different level. This game, if it happened, I think Alabama's run would come to an end, and I would get my Final Four matchup that I predicted. Bama, North Carolina should be a really good game. I'm taking Bama for the bracket purposes. I like Arizona a lot, though. Again, we want to see the Love versus UNC matchup, but Caleb Love can lead his team back to a Final Four, yes. But I love the surrounding pieces Tommy Lloyd has. And then Larson's been so underrated. Keyshawn Johnson can, stretch the floor, but in transition, he's very, very scary as well. Bala's is such a big body. I think he would give a lot of problems to Bama, and obviously I think they could outscore Bama. It would be tough, but again, Mark Sears, he would have to carry this Bama team even if they beat North Carolina, and I don't think he can carry his team to the Final Four. I would have Houston win this game against Marquette. Again, this was not my Elite Eight matchup. Again, I had Kentucky in it, but the reason I love Houston so much is they've been in this scenario before. They haven't won a national championship, but they've reached the Final Four. They've reached Elite Eights because of Kelvin Sampson knows how to win big time games. Jamal Shed, again, one of the most underrated players in the country for a casual fan, because he sometimes doesn't have the greatest games, but he's always the most impactful player on the court. But Sharp's come alive. Cryer's been consistent. And then their bigs, Jawan Roberts, Francis, they've had good bench production also in this tournament, which is huge for Houston. And I think they could just be more physical to Marquette and that run. And then that last Elite Eight matchup, Purdue Creighton. Again, I picked this in my real bracket. I have Creighton beating Purdue, and I don't know if I really know if that's going to happen. But the reason I would take Creighton in this matchup, Kalkbrenner can match up with Edie, I think, really well. Ryan Kalkbrenner is so good at staying out of foul trouble. Like Zach Edey, he loves to build a wall, and he's a great shot blocker. I think Edie can finally match up, and he's not the same size as him, but can, pretty evenly be paired up with him, which I think could throw him off there. And I like the surrounding players of Creighton. Obviously, their depth isn't as good as Purdue's, but I think they would match up evenly with Purdue. And again, what I said in the original bracket, I can't have 3 1 seeds in there. And if this happens, I would predict a perfect Final Four, and that would put me most likely chance if UConn wins it all to win my bracket group. And I would continue what I said in the regular bracket. I would have Houston versus UConn. And I don't know what I said the final score is, but I'll say like 138. But yeah, so that's my first one. This is based on what I think. What did I know? Oh, I didn't pick UConn to win it all. Yeah, I'll pick UConn to win it all in this bracket here. Based on my regular bracket. And then we're gonna let's do one more rapid fire. What if I didn't make a regular bracket and I just took how teams are playing right now, who I think would win? I still think UConn would win. I still think Illinois would win. I think North Carolina would win. I think Arizona would win. I picked Arizona for my bracket purposes because that would help me, but I do think North Carolina is going to win that game. This game's interesting. I'll take Duke to upset Houston. The way they're playing right now, Duke's playing better. I think they finally found kind of the rotation, the way they want to play, and it's not through flip. The guards have to be so good. And look, Houston's not the biggest team. They're gonna punch you in the mouth. They're gonna be able to absorb a punch and then give you one right back harder. But I like Duke, the way they've been playing, and they're gonna obviously have to shoot the 3 ball well. Which a lot of teams have to do to win, but Duke especially, they shoot a lot of threes, and when they shoot well, they can beat anyone in the country. And we saw in those 2 North Carolina games, they didn't shoot the 3 well and they lost. But I think they can do that against Houston, and I'll pick them to upset them. And Marquette, I'll take Marquette to still beat NC State. I just think the run ends. And I've been down NC State since the beginning, so they could easily prove me wrong and get this win. And in this matchup, I think Gonzaga versus Purdue would be very interesting, but Purdue is still run. I love Gonzaga's chances. I think I will pick them to cover that spread, but Purdue right now is playing on another level, and I still think Creighton's going to win this game. They're underdogs in this one, but I'd still pick Creighton. And then I would still take UConn to the Final Four. I would still take Arizona to the Final Four. I would actually stake Purdue to get to the Final Four. They're playing on, again, another level. And this game would be really hard to predict. But if Duke's going to knock off Houston, I think they can go and knock off Marquette as well and get to this Final Four. So, way the teams are playing right now, I see this is the Final Four, and I would still have Houston, but this UConn versus Purdue. And for the shits and gigs, this would be the worst case scenario for me. I'll take Purdue to win it all in this bracket just to see which one does better. I'll say it's 140. 140. But again, this is bracket. We'll see which one does better when we come back to it in my hypotheticals. This one is based on who's playing better right now, and my gut says, like, my gut's telling me Purdue's going to win it all, and I hate it. That would be my worst scenario, but my other one's based on my bracket, what would be best for me and what I want to see happen. Yeah, obviously, if Purdue wins it all, that would suck, and I would have to, consider suicide. Obviously, I'm joking. But we'll see which bracket ends up being the best one. I'm gonna say hopefully the first one. Hopefully I get a perfect Final Four and I go win my bracket group and win a lot of money. That would be nice. But I don't want Purdue to win, so hopefully my first one's better. Yeah, the Sweet 16 starts tomorrow. I'm gonna be trying to. I don't know what I'm gonna try to do. Maybe come out with a power ranking. I'm gonna try to put my Twitter in the description of this, because go follow that, because I post. I just put random tweets. I might post my power rankings on there and my best players ranking. So if you want to go see that, go to my Twitter. But that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. Yeah, follow my TikTok too. I'm gonna have to try to remember to put these in my description, because I'm gonna be posting some bets to look out for. So yeah, that's gonna be fun, and I'll catch you. I don't know when I'm gonna catch you, honestly. I don't know when I'm gonna catch you, but maybe Friday, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? Go enjoy basketball if I don't see you before then. Peace.